Welcome back to the Newbie Railroad, where a newbie, a complete beginner to model trains, builds a train station and a railroad, and you can learn from my mistakes along the way, and yeah, so welcome back. This is where I'm supposed to say, like, you know, click the subscribe button and all that kind of stuff, but you know, YouTube doesn't pay me anything, and I don't get any free stuff from any manufacturers for review or anything like that. So if you want to click the subscribe button or click the like button, great, and it would help my ego. But if you don't want to click it, that's cool too. Whatever. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter to me. The more people that watch and enjoy these, the more likely I am to keep making them. Well, in the paraphrase the words of Red Green, we had a big week up here at the railroad station and railway. So let's just get right to it and start seeing what's up. Okay, it's time for an unboxing. This is a Walthers product. This is the first Walthers product I've ever purchased. Walthers train line. This is go to the end of the box, Burlington Northern track cleaning car, 931-1753. I've seen a number of videos on cleaning track, the do's and don'ts, and different people disagree on some of the things. Some of the things they suggest are pretty much in common. But I'm not sure if a track cleaning car is a good thing or not. So don't take this as a recommendation. I went ahead and got one. I'm going to give it a try. But other people would be much more knowledgeable about what you should or shouldn't use to clean your track than me. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on anything. The back of the box, basically there's a advertisement there. It's got their address in Milwaukee, and then the end of the box I've already shown you, and that's about it. So let's go ahead and open this up. Pull that out of there, and the box is empty. Okay. All right, let's see what's in here. So, anything underneath? Nothing underneath. Okay, so there's just a simple plastic cover, no plastic over the car. Take the car out of the box. This is empty. Okay. Car is quite heavy. Feels like it's going to wobble, which is unfortunate. And it looks like there's some kind of like a whetstone underneath here. There's also a piece of foam under there. Let's take that out. No instructions, no documentation whatsoever. So it's interesting. Burlington Northern. Let's take a look at it. It's got some. Let me get my reading glasses on here. It's got some writing on the side here. Some capacity, load limit type stuff. Text on there, tiny text, which is good. The paint looks pretty good. Not like there's a lot of it or anything. End of the unit has a separately fitted brake wheel. Molded ladder, it looks like. Very few, if any, separately refitted parts. It's just a basic. Just that one brake wheel, as far as I can tell. The roof has a walkway on top, and it matches up with the ladder on the side of the unit. There's a couple of, these are molded handrails. It's very heavy, but it's all because of this rock on the bottom, I think. So let me put it up on the track and just kind of roll it back and forth and see what it feels like. So, okay, so it's up on the track. As with some of the units, there's quite a bit of wobble there, which I don't like. Seems like the wheel alignment must be about right. It feels, it doesn't have. Of course, it doesn't slide on the track because it's got that chunk of metal at the bottom. if I roll this back and forth a couple of times, and then pull this out of the way, and I try to look and see if there's a difference. There's no difference in feel, but it probably is doing something. Let's look underneath. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that or getting it in a shot. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there is some small black lines there, which presumably is some dirt that it picked up off the track. These are quite loose. Other than that, that's about it. So not like a lot to report here on this piece of rolling stock. So that is I guess I'll try dragging it around the track a little bit behind a loco, and just 'cause, I guess. All right. Okay, here's a little helpful tip with the Zephyr Express controller and switches. I have some Bachmann switches that include a decoder chip in them, so they're DCC switches, and I'll be adding more in the future. But I have 4 of them on the line right now, and I looked through the Digitrax instruction manual, and I could not find anything for this unit on how to program switches. It explains how to run the switches. That's quite simple, actually. You just go into switch mode by pushing the S key. Then you enter the number of the switch you want, which is in this case 1, and then you can tell it, I don't know if you can hear that or not, but switch 1 is now thrown, and now it's closed on my track. But I had no idea how to assign the switch numbers. So let's exit switch mode, and I'm going to go over to the track, and I'll go through the steps. What I had to do was I went to Digitrax's website, and I went to their help section and the FAQs, and I did a search, and I found this instructions for how to use, I printed it out here, how to set Bachmann DCC turnouts. And it actually probably works with any turnouts. And this came from 2013. So, and it's for, I believe it was for, yeah, it has instructions for the DTX 40X, the DT500 series, and then it has the keys for the DCS 5051 or the DCS 52, which is what I have. So you'd think that in the time between 2013 and 2021, they could have put this into their manual, but they didn't. Okay, let me clarify that. I could not find it in the manual. That doesn't mean it's not there. It just means that I couldn't find it. But anyway, so I printed this out from their website. So I went to their website and I got the instructions. So I'll show you how to do it. So the first thing it says is connect the turnout, and the turnout is connected. Make sure the track power is on, and on this unit, the track power light is right here, and you can turn the track power on and off with this on-off button over here. And when the green light is lit, the track power is on. Then I go and press and hold the programming button. So now I'm going to turn the camera off and move it, and then I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so I'm going to program this is a right-hand crossover, and so on the Bachmann Easy Track, what you look for is someplace on the turnout or the crossover. There's a little black circle in the middle of the track, and I hold that down, and it goes click click, and that tells me that it's in programming mode. Okay, now stop the camera for a second and go back to the Digitrax. Okay, so now on the Digitrax Express, go back to the instructions. What I have to do is go into the switch mode. So on the switch mode, and then put in the address. Let's put in address 2 for this one, and then for the DCS. Here's the trick for DCS52. I have to press the soft B key, and the B key at this point just says closed. So there's nothing on here that would tell me that it's the B key that I need to press, and that was where I got hung up. So let me press the B key. And you heard that click, 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 click. So now it should be programmed as 2. So let's hit exit. So we're back into just regular running a loco. And now if I go to switches, and I'll type in a bunch of garbage numbers, and I'll just type in 2. So I'm at switch 2. And then it should say thrown or closed. And it should be closed, I would believe. So let's try thrown. There, I don't know if you could hear that or not. But there it's closed, and there it's thrown. So that's how you program it, and that was the trick. The trick was that B soft key is not labeled on here, and I didn't see it anywhere in the instructions. Here's a quick tip for the DCS52 controller. I was watching a couple of videos online where people were reviewing and playing around with it, and a couple of points came to my mind. Point number 1, on the back of the unit is this place where you connect to the rail, and where I've got cable here for the operating track and for the programming track. And to put those in there, underneath here, there's little holes where you loosen a screw, put the wire in, and then tighten the screw back up. And somebody complained about how that was hard to get to. Well, here's the trick that I don't think is in the instructions. You can pop this off. Do your thing, and then pop it back on. So, okay, so there's one trick. Yeah. And here's another trick, or I don't know, trick, but info. So, if I plug this unit in, okay. So when it's on, when it's on, the power light, when you first turn it on, or when you run power to it, the power light for the track is off. And you push this button here, and now the track is powered. And you push the on-off button again, and now the track is not powered. And somebody said, well, yeah, okay, but how do you turn the unit off? And you don't really. It can just sit here. There's no power going to the track, so it's not in danger of anything. But if you want to turn it off, you basically have two ways to do it. One is just unplug it. That's not very hard. And the other way is you might have, in the U.S., you might have a power strip. In the U.K., you might have a switched outlet. I don't know. But I have a couple of power strips. Back under the bench there that are for all my lighting, and also the track is plugged into it. So when I leave the room, I turn those power strips off. So then this thing, even if I had forgotten to unplug it, it would turn itself off. So there's just a couple of little quick tips. Here's one more item regarding this Digitrax. If you're watching a review online about this unit and you see the lights are flashing in a sequence like this, that's a feature of the frame rate of the film of the camera, and not the unit itself. These lights are on solid to your naked eye when you're actually using the unit. Well, I got thinking, which usually causes trouble, but I've been reading, and some people have mentioned, when they're giving you advice on how to set up a layout, they say don't run the track too close to the edge of the table, because, like I've got here, because if a train derailed here, it could fall off and crash all the way to the floor. Well, I had a couple of spots here where I've got the track extremely close to the edge of the table. Well, here at least, it only fall a few inches. And I've never actually had a train, when they derail, they seem to stay like right next to the track, but I'm sure they could fall off. So I noticed over there, you know, there was a spot right there that's pretty close to the edge. So what I did was I just went and took some of my foam board, the same stuff that I used to make, you know, the mountains there, and I just kind of took this stuff here, which is Loctite foam board adhesive, construction adhesive, and went ahead and set that up. So now, you know, if a train was to fall here, it would be stopped by this wall. And I painted it kind of, could have, like I did back here, you know, I kind of made this corner into a mountain scene in the distance. I could have done the same thing here, I guess. But I want to leave some space to work in the garage there. So basically then I just set up that little wall there, and I've colored it green and black, so it's supposed to look kind of like some distant hills way off in the distance there. But I could also have made it into like a concrete wall or something if I was in an urban setting. But anyway, so that's how I'm thinking about doing as far as protecting my trains from falling on the floor. So I end this week with a little thinking about what's going to happen next. I've tried to match as close as I could. This is my current layout here on AnyRail software, and which I have talked about last year. And in my route here, I have a reversing loop here, and I would like to have two reversing loops. I'd like to have one going around the other direction. So I'm thinking about trying to connect, and I've got this double track, essentially a double track branch line up here at the top, and I've got a single line here. So what I'd like to do probably is to do a single line connection from this top to the bottom. But I have a problem. I've kind of backed myself into a corner. One way I would take one of these crossovers out, replace it with some straights, and then I could put in a branch. But I'm thinking maybe the thing to do, I might try, see if I can come from here, from this straight here, down here to this one of these straights, and then, you know, isolate this and buy another device that lets you create a reversing loop. And then I could have, you know, on this inside line, I've got my tourist train coming, and it would make a loop and come back, and then it could come around here and end up coming back the other way again, and then back in if it wanted to back in. So that would give me more options. So I'm thinking about figuring out somewhere, and I got plenty of room down here at the bottom, but I kind of backed myself into a corner up here at the top. So we'll have to see what I'm going to do. But I want to put in a connection here that would essentially turn this into a reversing loop, and then I can electrically separate it and get it to work properly. So that's kind of where I'm at there, and I think I'm going to end it right there for this week. And hopefully I'll make some progress, and we'll be talking to you next week. Here's a quick tip for the Digitrax DCS, whatever the hell is it.